Technology is getting bigger and better by the minute. Every day, people anticipate what the next innovation is going to be, whether it's a new model of a car or a new prototype of a much popular gizmo gadget. But in the 2010s, most people can't help but pay homage to the past decades where some of their favorite things were first developed. The 1980s paved the way with a new wave of new inventions and creations that are commonly used 30 years later, although there are some things that people have been waiting the last 3 decades to see, and all they have is the imagination and hype of how these products would have changed the world. The Back to the Future trilogy gave everyone who watched it hopes and dreams of what they saw on the big screen. Time travel is at the top of the list of inventions that sci-fi has blessed our minds with. But scientists and inventors have nowhere near mastered the ability of time travel. Doc Brown's flux capacitor is still sought after, as well as the Mr. Fusion, because that's what makes time travel. Not to mention those 1.21 gigawatts.
1.21 gigawatts of electricity.
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts!
Flying cars are up next, as people have been waiting on that since the Jetsons first appeared on television. With the DeLorean car being defunct for some time now, companies have been working on their design of a flying car, and they've gotten pretty far. Dutch company PAL-V has created the PAL-V1, which is surprisingly competing with Florida iTech's Maverick LSA and the Aeromobile 3.0, which was developed by Slovakian manufacturer Aeromobile SRO. So hopefully there will be a flying car in every neighborhood across the country. Although the list of things this sci-fi trilogy gave us on the screen, but the real world cannot, includes self-drying clothes, microwave hydrators, quinces, X-ray vision, and zappers. But the list of things Back to the Future got right is good enough, as we now have self-lacing shoes, video calls, plasma TVs in which you could watch multiple channels at a time, biometrics, and automation. There are 2 innovations that are still being worked on today but have not been conquered, and they are headwear and hoverboards. You've probably seen people ride around on hoverboards the last couple of years, but companies like Hendo are still working to create the actual gravity-defying version and have even had professional skateboarder Tony Hawk try out the prototype. With eyewear, inventors are coming a long way creating things like Google Glass, and most recently, the Oculus VR headset, which has taken the country by storm. Besides these once fictional on-screen gadgets, the real world of the 1980s blessed people with the first miles of some of the most used and beloved and maybe even abandoned or obsolete products ever. I wouldn't even be able to do this project if it wasn't for computers. With all types of personal computers out there on the market, it's hard to think that the computer craze all started with just 3 main types: the Commodore PET, the Apple II, and the one responsible for taking the PC out of niche and into mainstream, the IBM 5150. Nowadays, almost everyone owns a computer, whether it's a desktop or laptop, Mac or PC. This started as just a scientific phenomenon, but ended up being a global craze and much needed piece of technology. Tapes, tape recorders, CDs, VCRs, and Walkmans were all predecessors with the invention of the iPod. With the invention of the iPod, these 80s fads faded away because of one thing that had it all: storage for thousands of songs, as well as a convenient small size and touchscreen. Changing CDs and flipping over tapes became a thing of the past. As for television, making tapes on the VCR soon became necessary with the installation of the DVR. TV goers were able to record shows instantly and watch them at any time with the options of pausing, rewinding, and fast-forwarding, all from a remote control. Game consoles are forever changing in addition to the graphics and quality of the games being played on each platform. The downfall of ColecoVision and the Atari 2600 paved the way for the rise of the Nintendo empire, beginning with the NES and continuing now all the way to 2016 with the Wii U. But Nintendo was not the major face of the video game world, as Sony's PlayStation 4 and Microsoft's Xbox One are the major game consoles nowadays. Their style of games drifted away from the more child-oriented and classic-style games and are creating new state-of-the-art, breathtaking gameplay. Last but not least, every teen's favorite invention, the cell phone. Motorola's Dynatac 800X weighed about 1.7 pounds and only offered 1 hour of talk time. Nowadays, the bolder and clunkier the phones look, the less attractive. And nowadays, people can talk on the phone for hours, with texting all across the country within seconds. People are crazing over the new iPhones and Samsung Galaxy models for their slim design and touchscreens equipped with voice commands. With all the technology of the past, present, and future, we are already anticipating the next big thing. But with the next big thing, will our most favorite and popular products become obsolete in the near future? We can only imagine and anticipate the technology that will unfold before our very eyes.